Numbers rolling. Hi, I'm Dan Trano, president of Bunker Up Fishing, and I'm here today to show you how to make your bunker up rig. Okay, we're going to start off with just the basic tools and tackle that you're going to need to assemble a rig. You're going to need the Bunker Up Fishing size 2 barrel swivel. You're going to need the Bunker Up Fishing nickel leader sleeve size 7. You're going to need Bunker Up split ring size 8. Now that's going to be for the shock leader because we're also going to show you how to make that. Alright. You're also going to need 90-pound Bunker Up Fishing steel leader. Got a little roll, but we got it on a big roll here, so we don't have to worry about this little roll, but I just want to show you how it comes when you buy it. Okay. We're going to utilize a pack of the bait molds to make the rig. Alright, you're going to need to set this aside for a second and just want to go over the rest of the tools. Put this back here. These are our Bunker Up leader sleeve crimpers. Okay, these are going to go around the size 7. And that's going to allow you to crimp on. You're going to crimp onto that. That's going to pinch this wire and give you a nice secure connection to your rig. You're going to need a pair of cutters. Okay, nice diagonal cutters. And a pair of split ring pliers. Alright, now first off we're going to take 135 liter, which is this. Now this is going to be used black coated stainless steel leader. We're going to use this to connect, well, can't forget about the Bunker Up swivel, the sinker, the most important part of the whole game right here. This is what allows you to cast as far as we can cast. We're going to utilize this sinker and the tip of this mold. That's going to be the first connection we make when we're making the rig. So we're going to take 135, which is the heavier steel leader, and we want to connect it to this sinker. Okay, because we want the heavy leader to connect to the sinker because we don't want to lose this. We want to make sure that every time you get this back, if the fish breaks the other connection, which is the 90-pound and the weaker leader, you're only going to lose your hook and your bait and a piece of leader. But if you lose the sinker, which is the expensive part, you're going to have to buy more, and you don't want to do that because this is what's getting you out into the ocean. You always want to make sure you get this back. Alright, first off what we're going to do is we're going to, I already have some of these 7s open, so we just put a little pile of them right there. Alright, okay, and I got some size 2s already open, so there's a little pile of them there, and we can get started. Alright, we're going to take a 135, we're going to slide it through the size 7 steel or nickel leader sleeve. We're going to slide it through, just like that, right through the sinker, back up into here. Now this 135, you only have to slide through once. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you have just a little bit sticking out like that, pull your fingers on it, and pull it into the sinker. Pull it in as tight as you want. This connection doesn't have to have a big loop in it. It can be just like that. Okay, what you want to do next is grab this right below the leader sleeve, take your crimping pliers, start at the back, right in front of the wire, and just start biting that thing down. You can do 4 or 5 bites on this crimp, and what it does, it's like a shark bite. It makes a little indentation there, you can see. Okay, now that's totally secure. What we're going to do next is we're going to take our bait molds, just stand it up, we're going to drop that down inside there. Now, we have to get the right distance from there, from the bottom of the sinker to the top here to attach the swivel. So to do that, I came up with this nifty little idea. All you got to do is put your hand here, okay, and then cut the wire a ½ an inch above where your fingers are, just like that. Boom, done. Alright, you're going to pull that out. Now you pull that out, you grab your number 2 swivel, and you grab another leader sleeve, size 7, you slide that in there, right through the swivel. Again, you're just going to tuck it in and leave it stick out just a hair so it's not pinching the wire at the end, okay? And pull that nice, make a little loop in this one, you don't want it too tight, something like that is good, about the size of the swivel loop. Alright, now if you did everything correctly and you crimp this, then you're going to do the same crimp on here. 1, 2, just slide it up a little bit, like 1/16 inch increments, and just crimp 4 or 5 times. Done. Now if you did everything correctly, when you drop this in here, the swivel is going to be right at the top. Okay, that's where you want it, because you want to be able to tee off. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm coming right back. When you're making your bait molds, you could use a finishing nail, toothpick, whatever you decide. I use a little stainless steel rods that I have from welding, so you just put that through there. What that's going to do is hold your swivel above the frozen bait that's going to be inside your tube, and it allows you to adjust it back and forth. Okay, so but what you want to do when you're freezing the bait is always keep that in the center. We'll get to that in the next part of the video, but for now, the key is to have the swivel above the bait mold, just so the skewer can rest on there and allow you to adjust it back and forth. So if you repeat that process, I'm going to do one more just in case, so you don't have to rewind the video real quick. We're going to grab a sinker. We take the 7, slide it through the 135 through the hole, slide it through the eyelet of the sinker, back through. A little bit of reveal on the end. Now crimp it. Like I said, 4 or 5 times is usually pretty good. I don't think you're going to get much more than 5 crimps, so usually use 4, sometimes 5. Depends how you're feeling. Alright, now, like again, you drop that in there. Put your hand over the top. Okay. Cut it at 1/2 inch above your fingers. Like so. Pull that out. Get your 2/0 swivel. Slide that in here. Slide that through there. Back again. It's a little snug, the 135, which is good. That's what you want. You want it snug going through there. Pull that down like so. Like again, if you did everything correctly, when you slide it inside here, it should be right to the top, and it is right there. Boom. Slide that through, and you're gold. Okay, now that we have that part done, I'm going to show you how to connect the hook. Alright, we like to use size 8s, 10s, 11s, 12s. Depends on what we're fishing for. Most of the time we're fishing for sharks, so we use big hooks. 11s most time, sometimes 12s. The 12 is about the biggest you're going to get in the bait mold because of the diameter of mold in the inside. The 12-aught hook is about that size, so that's about the biggest you can go, which is a really big hook. You can catch just about anything on that. For now, we're going to attach a size 8-aught hook to the bunker up sinker connected to the small section of your rig. Okay, now put that here. You're going to need to utilize these again. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to take the 90, which is right here. Okay, a little bit thinner, so we can't just slide it right through the 7/0 leader and come back through and crimp it. It's just not going to hold. So we came up with this little idea on how to keep that from slipping. We're going to take the 90, we're going to slide it through that leader sleeve, slide it through your eyelet on your sinker, slide it back through, make a big loop so you have a lot of line to play with. You don't want to tighten this loop too tight, because you're not going to be able to pull it out without kinking it. So you want a nice loop so you don't kink the leader. Now, make that loop nice and big, tuck this back through right inside, and just let it stick out just a little bit past there. Now what you're going to do is pull the one side and pull that down tight. See, you just pulled that loop out, so it's not going to be in your way. Now you slide that down to your sinker, just like that. Boom. There's nothing there to get caught on anything. It's a nice secure rig. leader, and the line can't pull through, because once you crimp that, you're going to lock that line that's pinched out the other side, and that loop is never going to pull out. So you know it's not going to break because it slips. If the fish bites it in half or snaps your line, it's going to be because he bumped into it or rubbed it or bit through it. So what you do then is you repeat that same process. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you can see, you have a nice tight little shark bite crimp. Push that in, drop that into your mold, pull down some slack. Okay. Now what you want to do is you want to get the distance. What I like to do is to go down to the table and then just add like 3 or 4 inches, and that gives you about the perfect size leader that you need for your rigs. So you don't want to have a whole bunch of leader to tuck into the mold, because it could just get in the way and get hung up. With this amount of leader, we have very few knots in our line when it melts out. So this is recommended, what we recommend for you to do. If you want to try something else, that's totally up to you, but we found out that this gives us the least amount of knots in our line when we're fishing. So what you want to do now is grab your size 8/0 hook and repeat the same process on the hook end. You want to slide that through here, slide that back through the hook. Like I said, make a nice loop. Don't make it too tight, because you're going to crimp it there, and you don't want to kink in your leader before you get it out there. And then tuck that in there. Pull that down. Pull the first one down tight, and then pull this other one. Now here's the key. When you're making that loop on the hook end, you want to make sure you have enough loop there. If you pull that too tight, the circle hook isn't going to be, it's not going to allow itself to work, and that's how a circle hook works. It has to move around and find its spot and get hooked in the side of the face. Another thing, circle hooks are the best hooks. Stay away from J hooks. They're just bad for the fish. You know, hard to get out. They get stuck in their throat. It's just a lose all around for you, the fish. And I mean, yeah, of course they get jammed in there real nice, but you got to set the hook. The deal about the circle hooks, and what I like about them, is they set themselves. And with our heavy sinker, when that's laying on the bottom of the ocean, it's just, by the time that fish picks up this rig, that hook has already set itself. You just pick up your line and start reeling. Okay, so now we have that nice little loop in there. We're going to crimp onto that 4 or 5 times. And there you have it. You have your bunker up fishing rig, just like that. Okay, swivel, connect it to your sinker. Like I said, this is your most secure connection. You want that to be the heaviest part of your connection. So if he breaks anything out here, you're always going to get this back. And this is how it works. You're just going to drop it in there, tee it off to the side. Now your hands are free to bait your rig. You put your fish on there, make a little loop, tuck this line inside there. We're going to go over that when we connect the baits to the hook, and slide it to the center, fill it up with water, repeat that process 6 times, and there you have it.